Hi, my name is Dr. Felicia. I'm a licensed psychologist. And in today's video, I'm going to be leaving off from a previous video I did that talked about healthy spiritual environments and the types of people within those environments. So if you haven't watched that one already, I'd like for you to go to part one of the series, and I'll also put a link to that in the description box. And so just a quick recap of that video. I talked about a particular attribute that you will find in healthy spiritual environments and healthy people within those environments. In a lot of these videos, I talk about toxic spiritual environments as well as people within those environments and the spiritual abuse that can happen as a result from being in contact with those people and environments. But I also want to show and describe how to find healthy environments and healthy people within those environments, okay? Because a lot of times with these environments, they are pretty much a sum of and a reflection of the people within them. So this is part two. And in this video, I'm going to be talking specifically about how healthy spiritual environments and the people within those environments communicate their desires and their expectations. If you come from a spiritually abusive environment or been in friendships or relationships with individuals that are spiritually abusive, one thing you'll notice is that they are very confusing in the type of communication that they give. Oftentimes people like this are very manipulative, and they don't really state their intentions or their desires outright. And you also see this, in other types of abuse as well, not just spiritual abuse. And so I'd like for you to think about other types of toxic interactions you've had with people. But they, when in these types of environments, if somebody would like something or somebody has an expectation, it is rarely ever communicated directly. And the reason this happens is because if they were to say, this is what I would like, or this is what I would expect, then you have the option to say, yes, I can do that, or no, I don't want to, or I can't. And something that I've noticed about these types of environments and the people within these environments is that many of them lack emotional awareness and emotional maturity. And so when faced with that type of no, they don't know, or either they don't know or they're not willing or able to respond to that in a healthy way. And so people in environments like this, they use a lot of manipulation, a lot of confusion so that they can get what they want, instead of just coming right out and saying, this is what I would like, and then leaving it up to the other person to decide whether they want to or they don't want to. Another reason that this happens is because of the desire to control. And so if you think about a controlling person that you know, or an environment that you've come from, whether spiritual or otherwise, that was ruled by a lot of control, part of how that control was executed was fear, right? And if you think about it, people who don't know what to expect are always kept on the edge. They're always kind of like at the edge of their seat. They're walking on eggshells around these types of people. They don't really feel settled in these types of environments because expectations are never clearly stated. Or another thing that you might see is that because the behavior of a person doesn't line up with what they say, then their expectations are very difficult to discern. And so, when we think about that, comparing unhealthy to healthy environments, abusive versus, not abusive, the abusive environments reflect many of these traits of manipulative and abusive people, but on a larger scale. So let's shift to what a healthy environment would look like. And before I do that, I would like to ask, if you have not already, please take a moment to subscribe to this channel, to like the video, and to share and comment. What this does is it helps the algorithm show more of these videos to people like yourself who enjoy them and can benefit from them. So if you haven't already, please do so. I'd really appreciate it. And for those who've already done so, thank you very much. So now onto the healthy environment. What does that look like? Healthy people within that environment. the first thing that they do is that they will be, they'll communicate their desires to you. Think about a good friend or a place that you love to work or socialize. They're pretty clear about what they wanted. They will say, hey, we'd really love it if 3 or 4 of you could volunteer for this. Or imagine, a close friend that you have, one that you trust and one that, that you have a good relationship. They're open with you and they tell you what they would like, right? And with that, there's also the expectation on their part that you can accept that desire or you can refuse it, right? And that shows emotional maturity, and it also shows the willingness to let you be you and let them be them, right? They're not having this agenda to control you. And so, the next time you're in a new spiritual environment or a place, just check out how people, express what they want. Do they hint at things? People who are manipulative don't come right out and say what they want. They'll hint at things. If they don't feel like they're getting what they would like, they grumble. They might throw cheap shots or say these underhanded or indirect things instead of just expressing their disappointment. When people express their desires, they also express what they are disappointed about. And they do that and own their disappointment instead of making other people responsible for their uncomfortable feelings. Okay. So so be on the lookout for how desires are expressed and also how it is responded to when those desires are not met. And the second thing is expectations, right? In healthy environments, the expectations are crystal clear. And it's not only in how it's communicated, but it's also in the way that people behave. Imagine someone says that they expect, like, let's say there's a group project, right? And you're in a class, the professor says, well, I expect everybody to contribute their fair share in this group project. Now, the professor can say that, but let's say that, you're in this group project, nobody contributes, you've done all the work, and it's pretty evident that you've done all the work. And the professor doesn't do anything about it. The people who didn't do anything, their grades aren't docked. It's just everyone gets whatever grade that reflects your hard work and effort. In that case, the professor can communicate one thing, but their actions are showing something else. And so in a healthy environment with people who are healthy themselves, they clearly communicate their expectations, and their behaviors also line up with communicated expectations. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. And again, when people do this, that's a reflection of just their own healthy emotional functioning, and also the desire to respect your autonomy as well as theirs. They're not out to control people. When people are not clear about their expectations and they maybe say one thing or do another, it can oftentimes, like I said before, invoke fear, invoke anxiety, feeling like you're just always on edge. And when people are on edge, they a lot of times will react to something kind of in a knee-jerk way so that they're not feeling anxious, as opposed to feeling calm, feeling safe, and being able to respond to things. Okay, so that's, those are two things that I'd like for you to keep in mind: how people communicate desires and how they respond when those desires aren't met. And then also expectations. Are expectations clearly communicated? Are they communicated in such a way where you know what is expected of you, and you can also know what is expected of that person and that environment? And then is there consistency between the communicated expectations and then the behavior around those expectations? So I hope that information is helpful to you. If you would like to, book a free consultation with me to explore issues concerning either spiritual abuse, OCD, or other types of like psychological abuse, manipulation, things like that, go ahead to my website, skillsetcounseling.com, and then you can click on the orange button that says book your consultation. And there's also a link in the description box. And so I'd love to also hear from you all in the comments. How, what are some ways that you can discern what a healthy spiritual environment looks like? Are there things that you see, things that you notice, ways that people interact with one another? Again, the information that you all share in the comment section is so helpful, and I really am grateful for the community that we're building here. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments, and I hope that you have a wonderful day that is filled with peace. Have a great day. Bye-bye.